A ghost has no real power except the power you grant it. The past cannot walk into this moment on its own, it must be carried by your mind. When you stop obeying your past, you discover a new kind of freedom. You see that the pain it brought already gave you strength, and the lessons it taught already gave you wisdom. Nothing more is needed from it. You don't have to keep revisiting it like a prisoner reporting back to his warden. You are free to walk in the present, where life is happening fresh in every breath. Honor your past for shaping you, but deny it the throne in your life. It may be a teacher, but it should never be the ruler. The right to command belongs only to this moment, because only this moment is alive. Let yesterday rest as history, and let today rise as possibility. When you try to move forward, but keep your attention on the shadow of yesterday, your progress becomes weak and uncertain. Just as a traveler stumbling down a path while constantly looking over his shoulder will eventually fall, a person consumed by the past cannot walk steadily into the future. Life demands presence, it demands attention. Without it, even the strongest legs cannot carry you far. The shadow of the past may follow you, but it is not you. It is only a reflection of what has been, and it cannot walk ahead of you unless you invite. But many people mistake their shadow for their identity. They think their failures define them, their heartbreaks limit them, their mistakes sentence them. When you start to live as your shadow, the light of possibility becomes unreachable. If you want to take a real step forward, it cannot be crippled by yesterday's doubts. A crippled step is one filled with hesitation, fear, and self-questioning. You doubt whether you deserve better, whether you are capable, whether life will allow you another chance. This doubt doesn't come from the future. It comes from your obsession with the shadow behind. The truth is, the shadow is powerless without your gaze. The moment you stop looking at it, it disappears from your awareness. If you look toward the light, the shadow will always remain behind, where it belongs. It will never block your way unless you turn toward it. In this lies the secret of freedom. Where your attention goes, your life follows. To live fully, you must walk without constantly glancing backward. Take steps that are whole, firm, and alive. Every moment of attention invested in the road ahead strengthens your walk. Every glance backward weakens it. Do not cripple yourself with shadows. Let them rest where they belong, behind you. The weight you carry is not on your shoulders, it is in your memory. Most people think their exhaustion comes from the load of responsibilities, struggles, and challenges in life, but the heaviest burden is not what life demands. It is what the mind keeps replaying. Thoughts of regret, guilt, and resentment pile up, and this invisible weight bends you more than any physical strain ever could. When you believe you are tired because of life, you look at circumstances and blame them. But look closely. What truly drains you is not the event, but your repeated remembering of it. Life gives you a moment, but the mind multiplies it 1,000 times by revisiting it over and over. What you call heaviness is nothing more than memory turned into chains you refuse to set down. The body can recover from hard work, it can rest and regain its strength. But when the mind clings to memory, no amount of rest can lift the heaviness. You wake up with the same weight, you carry it through the day, and even in sleep it visits you in dreams. This is not life's doing, it is your unwillingness to release what has already passed. If you want lightness, you must stop mistaking memory for reality. Memory has its place. It helps you learn, it guides you with wisdom. But once you turn it into constant replay, it becomes a burden. To walk freely, you need to know when to use memory and when to put it down. Otherwise, you will spend your life dragging what should have been left long ago. True freedom is not in escaping responsibilities, but in shedding the unnecessary weight of memory. Life is already demanding enough in the present moment. Why add the extra load of what is no longer alive? Let the mind unclench, let memory rest. Then you will know what it means to walk through life not bent, but upright, not burdened, but light. Failure does not imprison you. Your obsession with failure does. The event of failure may have lasted only a moment, but the memory of it is what you keep alive for years. You build walls around yourself, not out of the failure itself, but out of the fear of repeating it. This is how a single moment becomes a lifetime of hesitation. Failure is natural. Every human being has stumbled, fallen, or missed a step at some point. But for some, failure becomes a teacher, and for others, it becomes a jailer. The difference lies in how you hold it within you. If you treat it as a lesson, it sharpens you. If you treat it as a curse, it chains you. The same event can either open new doors or lock every door, depending on your perception. When you replay failure in your mind, you give it authority over your future. You hesitate with taking new risks. You doubt yourself before even beginning, and you shrink your own potential. The failure does not speak. You are the one giving it a voice. You are the one repeating its echo until it drowns out every possibility that stands before you. If you can shift your view, you will see that failure is nothing more than feedback. It shows you what did not work, so you can find what will. Every great achievement stands on a foundation of many failed attempts. Those who rise above are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who refuse to become prisoners of their failure. You cannot erase the moments where you fell, but you can stop building walls around them. Tear down the prison you created with your own thoughts. Let failure be the stone beneath your foot, not the chain around your leg. Once you see it as a step and not a sentence, you will walk forward stronger than before. Life is not waiting for you to heal from yesterday, it is flowing right now. Time does not pause for your wounds, it does not stop for your pain, it does not slow down to give you space. The river keeps moving, whether you are swimming, floating, or standing still. If you keep waiting to feel completely ready, you may find that life has already passed by. Healing has its place, but many people mistake healing for halting. They pause everything, believing that once they fix every scar, only then will they be worthy to move forward. But life doesn't work that way. Your future is not built after your wounds are gone, it is built as you move through them. Every step you take, even with pain, is part of your becoming. When you insist on waiting until all is perfect, you are unknowingly giving yesterday the power to control today. The pain has already happened, but by refusing to move forward until it disappears, you let it keep ruling your life. Pain is not your prison, it is your excuse if you let it be. To live, you must walk even with the limp. The flow of life is generous, but it is also unforgiving. It offers opportunities, but they do not wait at the door forever. If you keep staring at your wounds, waiting for them to vanish, the moment may slip away. The truth is, you don't need to be whole to move forward. You need only the courage to step. Wholeness comes through movement, not before it. Do not let yesterday's hurt delay tomorrow's growth. Healing and living are not separate paths. They happen together. The river does not ask you to be healed before you step in. It heals you as you flow with it. Life is here alive, vibrant, unpausing. Do not stand on the shore forever. Step in and let the current carry you forward. Looking back at pain keeps pain alive. Looking forward to possibility keeps you alive. The past may have wounded you, but the wound is only as fresh as the attention you keep giving it. Each time you revisit the memory, you tear open the scab and bleed again. Pain is not immortal. It survives only when you keep feeding it with your focus. If you shift your gaze forward, the pain begins to lose its grip. The mind cannot serve two masters. It cannot cling to yesterday and fully embrace tomorrow at the same time. By looking ahead, you starve the pain of the attention it needs to survive. Slowly, it becomes nothing more than a faint scar, a reminder of where you've been, but not a cage that holds you back. Possibility is alive in this moment. It is the fresh breath, the open sky, the untraveled path. But if your eyes are fixed on what hurt you, you will not see the doors that are opening in front of you. Life is constantly offering new chances, but you will miss them if you are staring at the locked doors of the past. The truth is, pain is part of the human story. Everyone has known it in some form. But the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is where they place their gaze. One keeps looking backward, feeding pain with every thought. The other looks forward, turning pain into wisdom and possibility. When you look ahead, pain loses its voice. It cannot shout over the sound of hope. It cannot overpower the light of opportunity. To stay alive is to move, to shift, to keep your eyes on what can be, not on what has been. The past may explain you, but only the future can expand you. Choose to live by looking forward. The past cannot hurt you again unless you keep rehearsing it in your mind. The event itself is over, the people, the words, the moments, they are gone. Yet the memory remains like a recording you keep playing. Every time you replay it, the pain feels fresh as though it is happening again. What was once a single blow becomes countless wounds simply because you refuse to put the memory down. Your mind is powerful enough to recreate the emotions in the past in vivid detail. The body responds to these thoughts as though they are reality. You feel the same fear, anger, or sadness all over again. But this suffering is not caused by life. It is caused by your own repetition. The event has no access to you anymore, except through the door you keep opening in your memory. When you realize this, you begin to see that you are the one choosing whether the past lives or dies. You may not have had control over what happened, but you have absolute control over whether to keep reviving it. Pain asks nothing of you except your attention. Deny it that attention, and it cannot stay. Grant it your focus, and it will flourish endlessly. Freedom begins with the courage to stop rehearsing the old script. You cannot write a new story while reciting the same lines over and over. Your future is blank paper, but if you keep scribbling yesterday's words upon it, nothing new can emerge. Let the old story remain where it belongs, in the archives of memory, not in the theater of your present life. The only way the past can hurt you again is through your willingness to relive it. Break the cycle by refusing to be the actor in yesterday's play. Step onto the stage of today with new lines, new energy, and new vision. The past will fade when you stop rehearsing it, and the present will shine when you finally start living it. Your eyes are in the front for a reason. Nature never designed you to live backwards. Every part of your being points you forward, your steps move ahead, your sight looks ahead, your breath flows ahead into the next moment. Yet many people live as if they were meant to walk in reverse, constantly turning toward what has already gone. while the road of life waits untouched in front of them. If you tried to walk with your head always turned back, you would stumble, fall, and injure yourself. It is not because the path is dangerous, but because you are moving against the design of your own body. In the same way, when you live in the past, it is not life that holds you back. It is your refusal to align with the natural flow of time. Every moment is a doorway that opens only once. When you keep looking behind, you fail to see the doors in front of you until they close. Regret is nothing but the blindness that comes from refusing to face forward. Opportunity does not vanish because it was never there. It vanishes because your eyes were elsewhere. To live aligned with life, you must use your senses as they were intended. Eyes that face the horizon, feet that move forward, a heart that beats for what is coming, not for what has already gone. Nature is not confused. It never gave you the ability to walk backward into the future. That confusion is created only by the mind. Remember, the past has no life except the one you keep feeding it. Your design is proof you were built to move ahead, not behind. Trust the way you are made. Face forward, walk forward, live forward. The road is always waiting, but only for those who have the courage to look where life is actually happening. Pride in yesterday is as dangerous as shame in yesterday. Both blind you to what can be. Many think only regret chains them, but clinging to old victories is equally limiting. Whether you hold on to failure or success, you are still stuck in the same place, looking backward. Pride may feel lighter than shame, but it weighs you down just the same because it ties you to what is already gone. When you build your identity on past achievements, you live in the shadow of what you once were. You measure every moment against old glory, and nothing ever feels enough. This robs you of the joy of fresh creation because you are too busy polishing yesterday's crown instead of forging today's. What was once a stepping stone becomes a pedestal that traps you. The same is true for shame. When you define yourself by mistakes, you shrink your possibilities and let guilt choke your growth. Both pride and shame create the same blindness. They tie you to memory instead of allowing you to see possibility. Whether you glorify or condemn yesterday, you are still giving it control over today. Life is movement, not storage. Achievements were meant to be experienced in their moment, just as failures were meant to teach in theirs. Once the lesson or joy is lived, it must be released. Holding on to it beyond its time distorts it into something it was never meant to be. Pride becomes arrogance. Shame becomes despair, and both steal your freedom to move ahead. The true measure of life is not what you did yesterday, but what you choose now. Celebrate the victory, learn from the defeat, and then let both go. The moment you release pride and shame, you stand open, empty, and ready for life to fill you again. Only then can you meet the future with clarity and freshness, unburdened by the chains of memory. The past is a mirror. It shows you what was, not what will be. A mirror can reflect only what already stands before it. It cannot reveal the road ahead. Yet many people confuse the reflection for reality, staring into yesterday as though it could tell them who they must become. This illusion traps them, because the mirror can only show what is gone, never what is waiting. When you fix your gaze on the mirror of the past, you mistake memory for destiny. You assume that because something happened once, it must happen again. But life is not bound by reflection, it is shaped by the choices you make now. The mirror may show your scars, but it cannot measure your strength. It may show where you stumbled, but it cannot predict where you will rise. The danger of living in reflection is that you start believing you are nothing more than what you see. If the mirror shows failure, you call yourself a failure. If it shows betrayal, you call yourself broken. But the mirror does not hold truth, it only holds images frozen in time. Truth is alive, dynamic, unfolding in this very breath, far beyond the reach of any reflection. To break free, you must understand the place of the past. Like a mirror, it is useful to glance at, but dangerous to stare into for too long. A quick look may remind you of what shaped you, but to live in front of it is to live backward. The road ahead demands that your eyes face forward, not into reflections that cannot move. Do not let the mirror of the past imprison you. Glance, learn, honor, and then move. Life is not in the glass that shows what was, it is in the horizon that reveals what can be. The mirror has served its purpose. The future requires your gaze. Freedom is not in rewriting your history, but in refusing to be ruled by it. Many spend their lives trying to reshape what has already happened, as if with enough thought or regret, they could bend the past into something new. But the past is sealed. No amount of effort will alter a single moment of it. The only true power you have lies in how you choose to carry it, or whether you choose to carry it at all. When you keep revisiting old memories, you become a prisoner of what cannot be changed. You give away your present strength to battles that ended long ago. Freedom does not come from winning an argument with yesterday. It comes from stepping out of the arena altogether. The past cannot chase you unless you keep returning to fight it. The desire to rewrite history is born from resistance. You resist the pain, the loss, the mistakes, the shame, and in that resistance you remain bound. What you resist lingers. The key is not in erasing, but in releasing. Freedom is found in saying, yes, it happened, but it no longer commands me. That acceptance breaks the chain far more than any attempt to rewrite the story. When you refuse to be ruled by the past, you discover a clarity you never knew before. You no longer live reacting to memories, you begin responding to life as it is right now. This shift is powerful because it opens your eyes to opportunities that were invisible while you were trapped in regret. The energy once spent on rewriting what was is suddenly free to create what can be. True freedom is not the power to alter your past. It is the power to walk unchained in your present. The story behind you is finished, but the story ahead is unwritten. When you stop letting history be your master, you become the author of your future. That is where your strength lies, not in rewriting, but in rewriting yourself anew with every moment you live. Every moment you spend staring at the door that closed, you miss the one that opened. Life is never without opportunity, but opportunities often come disguised in silence. They do not shout, they do not demand, they simply stand waiting. If your eyes are fixed on what is gone, you cannot see what has quietly arrived. The tragedy is not that doors close, but that you never notice the ones that open afterward. A closed door is not the end of life, it is only the end of a chapter. Yet many stand weeping at it, pressing their hands against it, begging it to open again. In this attachment, they forget that new beginnings rarely come through old doors. Life moves forward, not backward, and every closed door is life's way of saying, "This path is complete, look elsewhere." The pain of loss often blinds you to possibility. You think what you lost was the only way, the only chance, the only choice. But life is far more generous than that. The end of one opportunity often clears space for something greater, something that would never fit if the old door remained open. What feels like rejection is often redirection. The challenge is to shift your gaze. Instead of asking, "Why did this door close?" begin asking, "Where is the new one?" This simple question changes everything. It pulls your eyes from the past and trains them toward the future. You begin to notice paths you once ignored, people you once overlooked, and chances you once dismissed. Do not waste your life at the door that has already shut. You were not meant to live in yesterday's rooms. The doors of tomorrow are waiting unlocked, but they cannot be seen if you are facing the wrong way. Turn, look, and step through the new openings life is giving you. Only then will you realize that nothing was lost, only transformed.